Well, hello, everyone. East West Books in Mountain View. We're very happy to present Mir Schneider. He's returned to East West Books Sunday, January 31st from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's an all-day event, a workshop called Self-Healing Through Movement and Natural Vision Improvement. It's a very popular event, and we're so pleased to host it. If you go to eastwestbooks.org/events, you can learn how to heal your eye strain. If you're tired of wearing your glasses, if you want to increase your peripheral vision, Mir Schneider, PhD, LMT, is the author of Awakening Your Power of Self-Healing and Vision for Life and Yoga for Your Eyes. He is an internationally respected therapist, author, educator, and founder and director of the School of Self-Healing in San Francisco. He was born blind and as a teenager successfully regained his vision using these techniques he will show you. His revolutionary work has been featured worldwide. Mir is a healthcare visionary, a pioneer therapist, and continues to develop therapeutic modalities in healthcare for a variety of physical and visual disorders, often considered beyond medical health. Mir, thank you so much for being with us. Can you let people know what they may learn on the 31st?
Well, first of all, David, thank you very, very much for having this short interview. And what I want to say is that it's going to be fun. To begin with, it's going to be fun. First of all, it will be fun for everybody to learn that exercises isn't simply trying to reach a certain goal, but there could be a wonderful, deep meditative experience. We can learn through kinesthetic awareness how the spine moves, how the joint moves, so we never have arthritis. And if we have it, that we can modify it and get rid of the drugs that kill more people than all illegal drugs put together. Many people talking about how many people die from corona, but not that many people talk about how many people die from medical drugs against arthritic pain. And it's many more. So to begin with, what I want to say is that learn how to manage pain drug-free. Learn how to move out of possibility of pain. And if you're 60, don't imagine you'll have arthritis in your 80s. This is very important. The other thing is we're coming to break all existing concepts. The idea that most optometrists and school nurses have, you don't see the board very well, go get glasses. Yeah, glasses will help you see it better. But just like any crutches, crutches weaken the legs. Glasses weaken the eyes. I'll kind of retract that. You know, if somebody sits in the wheelchair and I get him to be able to walk with crutches, they help him strengthen his leg. If somebody has a hard time walking and it takes sticks to be able to walk with, then the legs get stronger. So if somebody has macular degeneration and we get him to be able to see well through his glasses, that's fantastic. But if somebody just starts to have readers or bifocals, or went to the nurse and now they fit for him a small prescription, that's the time to not do it. That's the time to stop and not have to have it. And so it's going to be fun to do eye exercises. And I won't tell in the short interview all that it takes, but for example, instead of escaping the sun, I teach people to adapt to the sun. That doesn't mean that you're going to stand in front of strong light and just be squinting your eyes. No, you can wear a visor on your hat. You can also strengthen your pupils, and so strong light will not bother them. And for example, we need to expand our peripheral vision. The big problem that we have these days with all those smartphones, and unfortunately with the Zoom that we're all looking at. One of my friends wrote a book, How to Overcome Zoom Fatigue. Yeah. And one of the ways one of the ways to look at a distance, of course, because that's what our ancestors did for 2 million years. But another way is to improve your periphery. And I want to demonstrate an exercise. So everybody at home, wave your hands to the side. And that includes you, David. Wave your hands to the side. Because
here we go.
You look at me, but you see your hands. You don't look at them. You're waving them above you. You're waving them to the side. You're waving them below you. Then you close one eye, and you can wave the other hand all around without looking at it, but you see it because you wave it. And then you do the same thing here. You close the other eye and you wave. And that's what people did in the jungle because trees would move. If they wouldn't notice their periphery, they would be eaten, basically. And now wave your hands to the side. Wave your hands to the side,
Okay.
yeah. And now there's a little piece of paper that people
I have
make
one.
a loop and put it between your eyes. So all of you who look at this,
Okay.
stop the recorded Zoom and do this. Wave your hands to the side again, all the way to the side, all the way below and all the way above. And when we wave the hands, we start to more pay attention to the periphery. Now you can take the paper off and you can have a sense that there's more of the room because it's
Very
there
much.
for you. Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
So small exercises and tips like this, expanding your periphery, looking better at details, adapting to different light amplitude, bringing more blood circulation to the visual system, and looking at details are the things you're going to learn in my day. It's hard for me to finish at 5. The time says I have to finish, but normally it's kind of hard to go about it. We'll have people from England, we'll have people from Israel, so I'll have to finish at a certain point. But what you're going to learn by looking at this video, and I would even suggest sometimes you look and other times you close your eyes and just follow the exercises, is new concept of eye flexibility and brain flexibility. You know, for the last 30 years, there are more and more books on brain flexibility. And Mr. Deutsch wrote about me in one of his books.
Oh, wow.
He met me, yeah. And the point is that everybody knows about brain flexibility, but for some reason, neurologists did not adopt it into the practice. And ophthalmologists did not adopt it into the practice. So if you don't want to have tremor in your old age, if you want to feel flexible and never have back pain, if you want to recover from injury, if you want to see well and prevent cataracts and prevent glaucoma and prevent macular degeneration, this workshop could be a pivotal point in your life. And that's why it's good that East West records it and keep it for 7 days available. In fact, somebody from Australia intends to see it, but she's a Buddhist and she has all kinds of commitments. She asked, can I see it in increments? I said, yes, because East West keeps it for 7 days. So the point is that, that if people will take this to heart and also work with my books, which are, well, many, but the latest one is Awakening Your Power of Self-Healing, and Vision for Life is my most popular book. I have several other books, and all of them are in East West Bookshop. I must say, I'm a friend of East West Bookshop, and when the store was open, between once and twice a year, I used to lecture and give workshops. They never asked me to apply for something like this. They always invited me when I gave them a call, and it was time and place, because we always had a big crowd, sometimes huge, mainly large and happy. But what I want to say, I just want to give you one example. There was a guy, I thought then he was old because I was 28, but he was 73. Yeah. Now I'm getting closer to his age. I'm 66, going to 67. There was a guy who came to me with macular degeneration. And in that time, the medical profession did something terrible. They used to laser part of the macula because the blood vessels appear there in order to preserve the rest of them. He saw, after the laser treatment, he saw 8 images of everything. And it wasn't simple astigmatism in the cornea, it was in the macula. So we worked, and one of the questions that I asked him was, what have you done most of your adult life? And as a pharmacist, he was reading medical bottles, and he was looking at doctor's prescription. So it's always from near. And he was hunchback. Now, by the way, one of the things that bothers me about the Congress these days, I hardly ever looked at television show without seeing all of them bending their heads like this. I can't believe they can even think because they don't have enough blood coming to the head. But anyway, so what happened with him? I told him, in San Francisco, after all, is a beautiful city.
Yeah.
And I asked him to look at the distance for 2 hours a day, every day. By the way, it's a good way to stretch the lens and to prevent cataract. And of course, we did other things. He also hunched back, and I've shown him an exercise where I would get him to move his arms from side to side and straighten his back. There were many things we did.
Yeah.
So we straightened his back, and it brought more blood to his head. And as a pharmacist who bent all the time, that was a very big revelation and change for him. But more blood came to his eyes, and he looked at the distance. And then he learned also to look at details, which is the song and dance of the macula of the eye, where you look at details. You look from one detail to another, because the macula is 1.5% of the total retina, or total receptive fields of the retina. You know, the photoreceptive?
Yes.
And so actually you think you see my face, but you actually look from area to area, and you bring the concept of my face to your brain. But that's how the macula looks. And the moment that you do speed reading, the moment that you look at general details, you actually kill the macula. You stop working with it. So he learned to look at details, and he learned to look at distance, which gave him rest from 50, 60 years of looking so much from near. He did 2 hours a day. Wow. He gained back, he started with 5% vision, seeing double all the time. He gained back most of his vision. He ended up seeing 95% of normal vision, 20/25, just a tad less than 20/20. That was the most successful macular degeneration I had. But what I want to say is that instead of getting there, and that's what happens to most of us, and I have very dire prediction that if I don't succeed with my message, which I'm praying one day to succeed, because at this point I'm not that known, you know. But if I succeed with my message, it will be different. But otherwise, the cataracts that happen to people these days in the 60s will help to the next generation in the 40s, and the one after that in the 30s, and the one after that in the 20s. People these days, you take a look at the difference. Maoris, none of them wears glasses in New Zealand. You look at the people in the Amazon, 1% has glasses. Yeah. Look at people in Hong Kong, 62% have glasses. Look at people in Singapore, 70%. And take a look at the people in South Korea, 94% of glasses. Wow. If you can imagine how the world have deteriorated, the US is slightly better than other countries. We don't read as much, but we play computer games, we do this, we do that. You need to start to look at the distance to preserve your vision, to compensate. You need to learn to stretch and not to sit too much. For example, I teach people something so practical that every 20 minutes, you get out of the chair, you take your leg and you stretch it backwards. It's all you do. You take a deep breath and you just do this. Yeah, you just bring the leg backwards, you grab it and you bring it back all the way, and you breathe deeply to your hip joint. Yeah, and you do exactly the same thing with the other leg, and you breathe deeply to your hip joint. And take a deep breath. And now I have a seat back, and 20 seconds like this, every 20 minutes can make a difference, because our back is not meant to sit 8 hours a day. Yeah. I've not seen any ape sitting on a branch for 8 hours a day. We're not meant to do it. We don't have the muscles for it. The muscles for sitting are called basically called the paraspinalis, and also the transverse abdominis. And the moment that we sit more than half an hour, they tire. So we start to borrow other muscles, which are helper muscles, like the trapezius, the rhomboids. We start to borrow the external abdominal muscle. So we start to tense up in order to sit, and we don't feel it. So we start to be numb to our stress. And the worst stress isn't the one you're aware of, is the one which is inside you, you don't know anything about. So if we want to soften our back, it's not that we need to go to the chiropractor. We don't need $100 billion industry to get rid of our back pain. We need to work on it daily. I will teach you how to use muscles you never knew you had. For example, toe muscles. You know, people who are armless or have short arms can feed themselves with the toes. But when I ask from people to separate toe muscles and work them individually, they can't do it. Here I am, almost 67, not one day of back pain in my life. And I'm an exception. I should be the rule.
Yeah.
Everybody should not have back pain. Today, at the age of 15, you have back pain.
Yep.
So we have to do something to stop it. For example, we walk too much with shoes on cement, very jarring for all the joints. So change shoes, walk bare feet on grass. I always run bare feet in the ocean, as cold as the ocean is. And so the point is, we need to learn to get out of our box, not to overstrain with exercises, because that is actually destructive, but to learn to exercise sufficiently to get stronger and more flexible, and to exercise with deep consciousness of what is the next step for the body flexibility and the brain-body connection. We do that, and we will prevent most of the problems that exist, visual and others. So we can prevent paralysis in old age. So that's what I'm saying. A day like this depends how you use it. But if you really use it and you continue in practice with it, the end will be that you will have different life.
Fantastic. And I think that this different life that people can develop in learning your techniques, Mir, it's going to be so helpful to so many people, not just for vision, but for their back, their natural movement, and their overall health and happiness. So if you go to eastwestbooks.org/events, click on the healing workshop for the 31st of January. There will be a recording made, as Mir said, and it's from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We got a lunch break built in there. It's going to be a one-of-a-kind class. And if you know of someone in your family or a friend who would benefit, please let them know as well. From East West Books to you, Mir, thank you so much for your time today. This is a wonderful introductory talk, and it's going to be such a fantastic time for everyone who signs up.
What I like about Zoom sessions is they're interactive. So when people have questions, it could be major questions they have, even though I have a minute to answer them because I have to take care of the group, that minute could be very significant in their life.
Absolutely.
So it's very important. I mean, with my 50 years experience of the work that I'm doing, and I didn't even talk about what I've done with myself, which is I was born with cataracts. And my 2 kids were born with cataracts. And the surgeries that were done with me were unsuccessful. 99% of my lens became scar tissue. Oh. And I was reading Braille. I was the quickest Braille reader in the state of Israel. And I was able to, with the small bits and pieces of my lens, and with lack of original brain development, to build up 70% vision. And wow. Today I read, write, and drive with that vision. And instead of being handicapped, and because I really wanted to get out of that handicapped place where my parents were, because they were deaf. I was known to be the deaf son of Ida and Abraham in Tel Aviv. All the deaf community knew about the blind sign that they had. You know, not the deaf son, the blind son. So I was that blind son of the deaf parents. And I decided to overcome that. And I've done it with exercises. After surgeries actually messed me up. So that is something that is in my blood. I felt like my second birth was working on my eyes. It is for real. And it is hopefully the new art of working on the body. And already some scientific research were done about my work, but I'm dying to have many more because we have a lot that we can prove. And so come and learn on your body how to prevent major eye disease, how to prevent problems, and enjoy it. As I said to the beginning, enjoy it. So I'm looking forward. I feel so good about the partnership with East West because I always had it, and I'm very happy to continue.
Thanks again, Mir. Everyone, please visit eastwestbooks.org/events. Click on Mir Schneider for January 31st. And once again, Mir, thank you so much. It's going to be a fantastic class.